All right, good morning. Happy Monday, August 17th. The days just seem to blend together at this point, so I gotta look at the dates. All right, today we're gonna look at our next topic for the week. It's gonna be tracing an argument. Maybe do a couple worksheets or maybe a Kahoot game on it. But today, what we're gonna do is we're just going to, instead of going through a PowerPoint like we generally do most weeks, I'm gonna walk you through some IXL questions. All right. So we all know how to get into IXL, right? Learning. This is all going to be under your recommendations, right? Skills suggested by your teacher. It's going to be the top one unless one of your other Miss D or Miss D suggested it. But we're going to trace an argument. So what we'll do this week is we'll go through a couple questions on what it means to trace an argument. So what does it mean to trace an argument? We need to understand what the author's argument is and how we support it. So it's essentially like main idea, finding out the main idea is, but what is the author trying to argue? You're going to see questions on your tape tests like this. You're going to have long passages where you're going to see that the author is going to argue something. He's going to try to persuade you, kind of sticking along the persuade angle like we did last week with the 3 different types of rhetoric and how to persuade people, how people are persuaded. All right, so what we will do is we're going to read this passage. We've got two or three of these, and then we're going to go ahead and try to answer these questions. All right, so bear with me as I read through this. Mindfulness matters. In recent years, some schools have begun to introduce meditation or mindfulness training into their classrooms. This practice is a useful tool for people of all ages. During mindfulness training, students may be instructed to sit quietly and observe their thoughts and feelings. Mindfulness training can reduce stress and help students perform better academically. Therefore, more schools should teach students how to meditate. Among schools that already teach meditation, results have been positive. In one study, teachers reported that students were more focused after 5 weeks of mindfulness practice. The students also participated more fully in class. A middle school in San Francisco reported that a student meditation program led to a higher attendance rate and grade point averages. Another study suggested that mindfulness meditation helps students perform better on tests. Such results indicate that mindfulness training for students may yield concrete benefits for schools. Okay. Many supporters are convinced that meditation training programs can also help students overcome stress. For example, Headstand is a mindfulness education program designed to help students overcome anxiety. A study concluded that 98% of participating students reported feeling less stressed after they completed the Head Start program. In another study, researchers followed students who participated in meditation and yoga classes 3 times a week. They found that after each class, participants had lower levels of cortisol, a stress hormone, in their bodies. At some points in their life, everyone is going to experience something that knocks them down, says Michael, a former Head Start student. Supporters of mindfulness training in schools believe that these programs can give students a set of tools to manage their stress. All right. Despite the positive results seen so far, some will point to the fact that research on mindfulness training for students is limited. Indeed, much of the research on mindfulness is focused on adults, not children. Critics also point out that much of the current research is not rigorous enough and that more careful studies need to be done. Associate Professor Tamer Mendelsohn of the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health argues that research on meditation in children is still in its early stages. However, even she says that she has seen the positive impact of meditation on children. Others express concern that meditation is not a valuable use of time. They believe that stillness amounts to wasted time in school, but many people disagree. Denise Pope, a senior lecturer at the Stanford University Graduate School of Education, stated, "This is something teachers can do immediately. You can get a lot of bang for your buck, and anyone who is against it isn't thinking clearly." Based on current research, we can expect that future studies will only strengthen our understanding of the benefits of mindfulness. Although still in its early stages, research suggests that meditation programs can help in many ways. For one, students learn to cope with anxiety in stressful situations. Also, students of mindfulness training better report concentration and gains in their academic performance. Thus, meditation should be a part of every student's school day. Although some may find such programs strange, the programs demonstrate that participating in stillness can be just as productive as other school-related activities. Alright, so what's the main claim or argument? So think of this as the main idea. What is the author trying to convey, get across to you? Is it that meditation helps people control their thoughts and feelings? That schools should teach their students mindful meditation, or people of all ages could benefit from mindfulness training? Alright, so all three make valid points, but when we're looking specifically at this, what we've just read, as you will have a passage very similar to this on your tape test. What is it? Yes, it is that it can control their thoughts and feelings. Or is it, and yes, people of all ages can benefit. Those are true. But this is specifically talking about school, right? Students of mindfulness training better concentration and gains in their academic performance. Meditation should be a part of every student's school day, right? It's trying to convince you, trying to argue that schools should bring this into their, alright? So think about what specifically the author is trying to argue here. Alright, so what are two claims that the author makes to argue that schools should teach their students mindfulness? Higher graduation rates, help students combat stress and anxiety, or help students succeed in school. Alright, so as we go through this, I recall the stress and anxiety, right? Right here, 98% of students participating reported feeling less stressed after they completed. So we know that that is one. Alright, help students succeed in school or graduation rates. So it's definitely doesn't say anything about graduation rates, but it does stress that students will be more succeed more in school. Alright, better concentrations and gains in their academic performance. Thus, meditation should be a part. Alright, nothing about rates, but yes, it does say succeed in school. Alright, now let's look at the evidence. So we found the argument, we found the claims that back up the argument. Now let's look at the evidence. Select the evidence that the author provides the following claim. Mindfulness training may help students succeed in school. Alright, more schools are introducing it. Middle school students who meditate are higher grade point averages. A middle school in San Francisco started a mindfulness program. Alright, so it doesn't say anything about the grade point average, right? It doesn't say, does it say anything about a middle school in San Francisco? I didn't see anything about a middle school in San Francisco. Did you? But it did say that more schools are going, so we need to find the evidence that more schools are introducing it, and it's right in this chapter. Much of the research critics point out, so Head Start is a mindfulness education program, so more schools right there. A middle school in San Francisco reported a student meditation program led to higher attendance rates and grade point averages. So I was wrong. It did start meditating high, so it did say about a middle school in San Francisco. And so this was a tough one, so let's look at where the answer lies, because I'm struggling with this one. It says, read the second paragraph. Although schools teach meditation, the results have been positive. In one study, teachers reported were more focused, they participated more fully in class. A middle school in San Francisco reported a student meditation program lead to higher attendance rates and grade point averages. Another study suggested that it helps students perform better on tests. So, Mindfulness can help students succeed. So there is the key, is that help students succeed. How would you succeed? Have a higher grade point average. So it's more than just started a mindfulness program. Okay? Select the two pieces of evidence that the author provides for the following supporting claim. Mindfulness training may help students combat stress and anxiety. Okay? So, let's go to this one, stress and anxiety. Alright, so they found that each class participants had a lower level of cortisol, stress hormone. So, students had lower levels of cortisol in their bodies, and they feel less stressed about after most students feeling less stressed. Yeah, that's where it says, right? It says in another study, research found that participated 3 times. They found that after each class, participants had a low. Well, no, okay, I missed. 98% reported feeling less stress after they completed the mindfulness program. All right, so boom, there's your answers. All right. So in the fourth paragraph, what opposing claim does the author address? All right, so when we're looking at opposing claims, we're looking at the opposite claim of what he's trying to address here. So it's asking us to go down to the fourth paragraph. Despite positive results, some point to the fact that research on mindfulness training is still limited. Too costly, benefits may be lacking, or the author notes that those who support meditation programs are not clearly thinking. Alright, so let's read on a little bit more, because that's not going to tell us that. Much of the research is focused on adults, not children. Critics point out that much of the research is not rigorous enough and that more careful studies need to be done. So Tamara Middleton of Johns Hopkins argues that research on meditation in children is still in its early stages. However, she even says that she can see the positive impact of meditation on children. Others express concern that meditation is not a valuable use of class time. Stillness amounts to wasted time. Alright, too costly, doesn't say anything about that. Research supporting the benefits in children may be lacking. Or that the argument that those who support are not clearly thinking. So clearly it says that it's not. It's more focused on adults and not children. So the reports on children are lacking. Okay, so you're going to have about 5 or 6 questions on each one. All right, this is a good practice for you to go through, review these, and try to figure out the author's claim or argument, what that might be. We're going to do, I'm going to put a PowerPoint up for you to review on this at some point during the week, but I just want to go through a couple of these questions because we need to start looking at passages and answering questions on those, because those are what your tape test is going to look like. So we'll be back to center before we know it. Yes, I know I've been saying that, but it's true. We will eventually be back, and by the time we get back, everybody who's been working should have enough hours to take the tape test. So, for all y'all working hard, keep it up. I'm proud of you. For all y'all still not on board, please try to get on board. And it's very important, very, very important that you take care of this. It's not a lot, just about 30 minutes a day is all I ask. So, please let me know how you're doing. Hope all is well. And this is where we're going to be at this week, tracing an argument. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.